So if you are a professional videographer or a cinematographer, you should be considering something like this. Now, this is a production monitor. This can actually help book you jobs because a lot of clients actually like to see what they're actually paying for specifically on set. And we all know as cinematographers, videographers, that that's not the final product. We have to look at the edit and all the things that we do inside the actual edit and post-processing, not just on the job, but they want to see that. And this thing is definitely going to help. And I mean, look at the travel case on this thing. Absolutely incredible. $739 US. You wouldn't think that. I've had a couple of production monitors on this channel for double the price, 2.5 times the price even. $739 US. Crazy value. Let's talk about it. Now the timestamps are below so you guys can skip to certain sections because I do want to go deep into the menu system of this thing. So the Fieldworld C-Tech P215 Pro is a professional production monitor and has a 21.5 inch IPS 8-bit full HD screen. It has a contrast ratio of 1000 to 1. It's got 1000 nits of maximum brightness. It has VESA mounting points on the back, a V-mount battery, a tally light connector for live productions. It's got 2 HDMI in, 2 SDIs in, 1 DVI, 1 tally light on the back and 1 tally light on the front, 1 USB, a HDMI out, 2 SDI outs, a headphone jack, and weighs a total of 4.16 kilos. And it comes in at a price of $739 US. Now just quickly what's in the box, you get an SDI cord, you get a full-size HDMI, you get a HDMI to mini HDMI, you get a whole bunch of these AC adapters for your location, and you also get this tally connector bits and pieces. I don't know about tally connections, but this is what you get inside the case. Now, first of all, we got to talk about this travel case because the last production monitor that I had on this channel didn't actually come with a case whatsoever, which was a massive downside. Like you have to have a case. You have to have a travel case or at least a soft bag for you to travel with it. Having nothing is just not good. And look, don't get me wrong. This is a fantastic production monitor, but storing it like this just is not great. And I don't want to have to get, another Pelican case just to store this thing and spend more money on this thing. This one is a full aluminium case. You've got rubber on the corners and then you've got this plastic on the outside that protects the front and back. But check this out, I'm going to put a whole bunch of pressure on this. The shape that they've actually made this, it is incredible. I think it's like a polycarbonate. I'm not 100% sure, but it is extremely strong if you are pressing up against it. So you really would need something incredibly heavy to completely lean up against it. And then I don't even think that it's going to completely crush the screen because of the shape of it. It is so solid. And just to add to the protection, you do have foam little bits on here which covers the screws, but also there is a plastic casing around the front of the screen. So I don't think your screen is going to get cracked because that's going to add a little bit more protection on that screen, which is so good. Now, one of the things that I've actually found extremely useful on set is actually just the legs. Like this literally just swivels out and it expands the base of obviously how wide it is, which pretty much gives it really nice sturdy legs. And look, if you are extremely worried about it tipping over and you do actually have a production cart, then just use the 1/4-20 mounts or the 3/8 mounts on the side and a magic arm and then literally just screw it into your camera cart and it's definitely not going to fall over. Now look, you can completely take this out of the travel case, but I wouldn't recommend it and you don't really need to. It is perfectly fine to stay within the travel case when you are actually on set. Sure, it does add a little bit of bulk, but as a production monitor, you expect it to be bulky because you're going to be on a professional set anyway when you're utilizing these things. So definitely keep it within that travel case and it's easy to pack away once you're done. Now look, I'm not going to act like I know anything about live productions, but it does have a tally light on the front and a tally light on the back. You can actually connect it through the tally connector. I don't know anything about this, but if you are into live productions, then this is obviously going to suit you to connect it through there, and you'll have the tally lights on there when you are recording live, which obviously is really good. Okay, so this is pretty much the front interface here. You can see I've got the HDMI 1 connected. You can choose HDMI 2, SDI 1, SDI 2. Very simple way of actually choosing which input you actually got. Now, when it comes to the actual menu system, you can see here, this is all my display stuff off the FX6. We'll go directly into the menu, and you've got your first one, which is all your assists. So you've got your waveforms, vector scopes, your histograms, focus assist, you've got the embedded audio, overexposure tools, which is just your zebras, check field, and false colors. Now, you can utilize all these if your camera doesn't have any of these, but you can also customize these to either one of the function 1, function 2, function 3, or function 4 buttons. Now, generally with these function 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, you'll have your quick buttons, quick menus, just things that you turn on and off really quickly. Now, when it comes to the waveforms, my FX6 has waveforms, so I don't really need to add that. The audio was already there. The only thing I do want to add is we'll go into the focus assist, because this is a manual lens. I'll just turn this off. You can see here, there isn't any focus peaking actually displaying on this screen. So I'll turn on the focus peaking. So right here, focus assist on, and you can turn it to red, green, or blue. And then you can turn on the peaking level. So the focus peaking lines directly where I focus on, which is perfect. I will throw it right there. It just gives you an idea of where your focus point is. Even you can see on the light there, it generally works well with high contrasting edges. Low light situations sometimes doesn't work well, but that's just, you know, your standard focus peaking on your camera. Now, the other settings, I'll show you the waveforms. Brings it up on the side here. Your vector scopes, you've got your histograms, and all those kind of waveforms, but I generally don't have that. It really is personal preference there, but waveforms, you can see with your waveforms here, and that is good. You can turn on the opacity and just make it a little bit more see-through if you want. It really just depends on, you know, personal preference, but it's not just this type of waveforms. You can go the YUV waveforms, or you can go the RGB waveforms, I actually prefer just your regular Y waveforms, which is exactly what my FX6 does. So I'll turn that off because I don't actually need that. In terms of the vector scopes, that's just the one there in the top corner. I personally don't use vector scopes. It's good for trying to get correct skin tones. Now the histograms, same thing. I don't really use histograms that much, but you can turn them on and off, and it displays it in the corner. We'll go focus assist, we already had a look at. Embedded audio, so this one actually has a whole bunch of channel monitoring, which is really, really cool. Shows you in this particular corner here, and it all depends on the audio that you're actually putting directly in as well. But you can monitor channel 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, or 7 to 8, depending on which channels you actually have on the input. We'll go back to overexposure, which is just your zebras. So we'll turn that on, and looks like we could probably go to 80, what is it, 60%? There you go. So that just gives you another form of checking exposure. Sometimes I just like to have it at 95%. Or 90%, depending on what you prefer, just so I can see where is getting close to my clipping points, so I can just back off. But with my waveforms, that's my main exposure tool, generally in most situations. Check field gives you a whole RGB breakdown, so you can turn the screen onto full red, green, blue, or gray. Turn that one off. And then you've got false color, which you've just got your normal false color, or you've got your RE false color, which is quite popular. I like to have those actually in my custom buttons. So if I am trying to do, you know, correct exposure, I will utilize this. But we'll turn that one off. Then the next one you can actually turn on is your grids, which is this one is your 3x3, which is pretty much, you know, your rule of thirds. You can go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 9. It just gives you a whole bunch of different options and colors as well. So customize it to however you want there. But you do actually have set frames as well, so you can actually have your frame guidelines, 80%, 85%. You can even go 2.35 to 1, which is like, you know, your standard cinematic guidelines, and turn them red, green, blue, all those kind of colors as well. Turn that one off. Center marker is a good one to actually have on at all times because you can see exactly where your center point is. And if you're trying to put something directly in the center, always cool to sort of see that center marker. I will leave that one on. Ratio marker, similar thing to, you know, your guidelines. It just gives you certain framing. So, you know, 16:9 framing, I'll turn that one on. You can see that 4:3, 13:9. But one interesting thing is that it sort of darkens the outside area. So this one is quite bright, and then the outside area is slightly darker, and it just shows you where those are. You can go down to modified mark and just darken the outside area even more. So that completely gives you an idea of your actual frame itself. But, you know, it all depends on what you prefer, and all depends on what the client wants to see as well, because majority of the times this is for a director or producer to have a look at. Now, in terms of the image, we have the scan mode, we have the aspect ratio, similar thing again, anamorphic modes. You can actually adjust it completely. So you've got your standard 1.3, 1.6 two times, but then you can also do the user one, which you can dial it into your particular aspect ratio or anamorphic mode. You can flip the image, so horizontal flip, vertical flip, so it depends on how you're actually mounting this monitor. You may actually find that quite useful. Zoom mode is really useful if you are trying to, you know, get really nice and close and see exactly your correct focus. So this one is cool if you are trying to do some basic focusing stuff and really trying to nail in that focus. It's almost like critical focus, but you can actually utilize these in your function buttons as well. So we'll turn that zoom mode off, exit, image freeze, and you got P2P as well. But we'll go to the user option. This is where I want to be able to turn on my LUT. So turning the LUT on at the top, and I've selected S-Log3 because that's pretty much what I'm filming in, and that will just turn it to just regular Rec 709. Great for clients to sort of see what the Rec 709 version is, but you can also upload your own LUT in there as well. 32 different LUTs that you can actually upload into here and give your client pretty much a general outlook of what it will look like after post-processing, but obviously color grading will change quite a lot. So you can see here it's importing all the LUTs. I'll go to my Morris Hollywood LUT, and essentially that's the kind of LUT that I generally grade with, and it will give me a basic look of the actual scene. And obviously your clients, you know, will be able to see what everything is meant to be looking like, but obviously these will be adjusted in post-production. So you can see there, it's a nice sort of look that it actually added into here and uploaded. Now also we do have HDR mode, which you can turn on and off, display adjustment. So that's obviously making it brighter, making it darker. Depends obviously if you are using this outdoors or indoors. Color adjustment as well. So I've kept it on auto, just regular. You can actually turn these on the set 5600, 65 or 9300 Kelvin. These are your shortcuts of where your function 1, function 2, function 3 and function 4 buttons are, and then you've just got your volume, backlight, those sort of things. So if you actually just dial this in, it's going to change the backlight or it's going to change the volume. And through the system, you've got your language, you've got your on-screen display options, the volume reset, and obviously firmware updates, which you can update through the USB-C on the back. But that's pretty much the menu system. Really nice and easy, intuitive with this sort of knob here and navigating through quite easily. You've got your exit button, which you can go back or forward, click the knob in, or click the exit button to go back to the start. Very basic, very easy. So anyway, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. I will put a link in the description below with this P215 Pro monitor, but also the F5 Pro X field monitor as well. Great products. I am extremely impressed with these budget options, and I'm so glad that I've actually brought these budget camera monitors back onto the channel, because I'm finding some absolute gems. It's so refreshing to see that budget companies are doing incredible jobs with high quality gear. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it.